Dr. Page's surgery, Sister Regan speaking. Oh, yes, Dr. Erickson. Yes, Doctor does know about the appointment with you, but he went out on an urgent call and he's not back yet. Something must have delayed him.
Oh, devil, take the rotten thing.
Car broken down, sir.
Oh, hi, Sonny. Where did you spring from?
I move around pretty quietly, you know.
You do?
The kids at school call me Creepy Davis.
Do they now? And what does your mother call you?
Lenny. Well, that's my real name. I say, you picked a bad spot to have your car break down, sir. Right up here on the top of Cemetery Hill. It's 2 miles to the highway.
Don't I know it. I was hoping to fix it. I'll have to phone for a breakdown van now. Well, it's lucky I'm so close to that old house. It's the only one inside.
Oh, you won't be able to phone from there, sir.
Well, they have the phone on. I can see that.
That's Miss Taggart's house. Never see her in the daytime. She's a witch.
Oh, well, in that case... She's a what?
A witch. You only see her at night.
Don't tell me a big boy like you believes in witches.
Everybody says she's a witch. But she doesn't worry me. The kids reckon I'm mad to come up here alone near the cemetery and the witch's house, but I don't care.
What do you come here for?
I collect colored rocks for geology class at school. Oh, there are some buttes up here.
I see. Well, good luck with your collecting, Lenny. I'm going to see if the witch will let me use her phone.
You're wasting your time, mister. She won't answer the door. She never comes out in daylight.
Oh, she doesn't, eh? Well, I'm afraid she's going to have to come out this time. A great medical mind, they say.
Yes, a brilliant surgeon.
Too young for my liking, much too arrogant.
Yes, just a rebel in a white coat. That's your Dr. Peter Page. A rebel in white.
At last. Where on earth have you been, Peter?
Walking.
Where from, for goodness sake?
Well, a car broke down way out on Cemetery Hill and I had to walk to the highway to get a lift.
Cemetery Hill? What were you doing up there?
Oh, I took a shortcut.
Oh, Peter. Oh, if that isn't the saddest story in ages, you take a shortcut and end up getting home 2 hours late.
I'm tickled to death about it.
Ah, never mind. I'm sure the exercise did you good. Come on, sit down. I'll make you some coffee.
Oh, this is one time I could use even your coffee.
You must be feeling exhausted if that's the case. There. Jug's on. Won't be long.
Oh, the whole thing was so frustrating. Any crises while I was away?
No. Only Dr. Erickson. He was expecting you at the hospital.
Oh, yes, that's right. I have to ring him and square off. And that means I'll have to make time to see him tomorrow. I'll be behind for days. It's a busy week.
Well, if you will go visiting cemeteries in working hours, that's what you must expect.
Visiting cemeteries? I might just as well. That call I went out on wasn't urgent at all as it happened. And then I had to get stuck on that hill. I thought I was lucky to be near that lonely old house. Well, I mean, there's a phone there.
Oh, I know the house you mean. Don't tell me anyone lives there.
Uh-huh. Well, the silly old duck refused to open the door. Miss Taggart, I think the kid said.
Kid? What kid?
Creepy Davis.
Who?
Oh, I mean Lenny Davis. A funny-looking boy who creeps around on the hill collecting stones. He says the old woman's a witch.
You feeling all right, Peter?
I'm not sure. But the jug's boiling, so make the coffee, and I'll tell you all about Creepy Davis and the witch.
What are you doing, Lenny? Oh. Hello, Marion. Messing about with those silly old stones again? Don't you ever do anything else? Nobody asked you to hang around. Go back home and play with your dopey dolls or something. Oh, that's a pretty one. Where'd you get it? Up on the hill. Cemetery Hill? Yep. I don't believe it. You're fibbing. I am not so. I got that one up on the hill and that other red one over there too. Do you really go up near the witch's house? Of course I do. I've told you that dozens of times. I wouldn't dare go up there by myself. Well, I would. I go all the time by myself. I bet you'd never go up there at night. What would be the good of that? can't look for stones at night. I bet you're scared to go at night. Scared? Who's scared? I'm not scared to go any time. That old witch doesn't worry me. I bet you wouldn't go up there tonight. I bet you threepence you wouldn't. I haven't got threepence, but I'm not scared. You're the one who's scared all the time. You wouldn't go, even if I went with you. I'd go with you in the daytime. Well, you wouldn't go at night. I would so, if you went too. Okay. We'll go tonight then, after tea. Tonight? Well, I think I've helped Mum tonight. Ah, you're scared. I knew you were. Girls are all sissies. I am not scared. Of course you are. All right, I'll show you. If you go tonight, I'll go too. Well, there it is. The witch's house. It looks spooky. Come on. We've got to walk right past it and back. You agreed. We don't have to go any further. We've seen the house. You agreed to walk past it. You're scared. I'm not, only... Only what? All the trees. They look sort of different at night. So they've got big long arms. And the cemetery. Tombstones look so white. Oh, cut it out, will you? You'll be getting me as bad as you are. Come on. Let's walk past the house. In a minute. What do you want to stand here for? Lenny. What? They say the witch comes out at night and flies around on a broomstick. I say, I'd like to see her do that. Don't talk like that, Lenny. What's up? Look under that tree. There's someone there. Huh?
What's the matter, child?
It's her. It's the witch.
Didn't you see me coming through the trees, eh? What are you two children doing up here at this time of night?
Well, we were going for a walk.
I know you. You're the boy who collects stones up here. I've seen you sometimes, through the Venetian blinds. On a dull day, of course. I love to look outside, but it must be a nice, full, cloudy day, you know.
The hill looks a bit spooky on a dull day.
I don't know you, little girl. Oh, my. What a pretty little thing you are, aren't you? Your hair shines like silver in the moonlight.
No, keep away from me.
You're not afraid of a poor old woman, are you, child? I only wanted to feel your lovely hair, to see if it's as soft and beautiful as mine used to be. Here,
No, don't touch me. Run, Lenny, quick, before she catches us. Marion, wait. Hey, wait for me.
Ah, there you are, Chuck. Look for you in your office.
Oh, I've just been checking on a casualty that came in last night. Young girl with a broken leg.
Oh?
Yes, I believe you've attended the family. Wills. Child of 9, name's Marion.
Marion Wills? Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Her mother brought it to me for something or other a few months back.
Yes, well, this was an emergency, you know.
Mm.
They rang for an ambulance, and so we have her here. Of course, if they'd like you to take over.
I'm sure there's no need for that.
Yeah, just as you like. You'll be all right with us, of course. Come in for coffee.
Well, I've had it earlier, but I'll come in. How did Marion break her leg?
Well, you'll probably think it's a funny story, but the report says she fell over a tombstone.
A what?
Yes, tombstone in the cemetery. She was running through there to get away from a witch, she says.
A witch? Oh, no, not that again.
Again?
There's an old woman who lives in a lonely house on Cemetery Hill. The children think she's a witch.
That's right, I've heard about that. I don't blame the children entirely. There are one or two adults with very odd ideas about that woman.
Oh, you're kidding.
Am I, by George? You ask some of the folk out that way and see what they say.
In this day and age, you'd hardly think it possible anyone could believe in witches, even kids.
Well, witch or not, the Wills family are pretty annoyed about the old woman frightening their little girl. And Wills is a great one for making a big noise about things. I shouldn't be surprised if he stirs up some trouble.
Well, All right, Mr. Wills. I'll tell Doctor as soon as he comes in, and he can discuss it with you. Very well. Goodbye. Well, that you wouldn't read about. Oh, you just missed a phone call, Peter.
Oh, something important?
It depends on how you look at it.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Mr. Alec Wills called. He wants you to ring him back when you have time.
Wills. That's Marion Wills' father, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, that's right. You remember her then?
Vaguely. I was talking to Stark about her. She's at the hospital with a broken leg.
Then you know half the story. How she was running away from this old woman on Cemetery Hill and fell and hurt herself.
So what does Wills want with me?
He's getting up a petition. And seeing you've been their family doctor in the past, he thought you might like to sign it.
A petition? What for?
He says that old woman, what's her name, Miss Taggart, he says she's a menace to the children and she ought to move away.
Well, he's entitled to have his point of view, I suppose. But that is her house up on the hill and she has a right to live in it. If they're thinking of petitioning her...
They're not thinking of her. The petition's for the Shire Council.
What?
He says he knows Miss Taggart won't move out of that old house just because they ask her. And the house is practically falling down, so he's getting this petition to get the council to condemn the building. He wants the old house wrecked, razed to the ground.
Oh, yes, I've heard about it, Page, but I haven't been approached to sign the petition.
Well, I have.
Oh, did you sign?
Stark, they're asking me to throw an old woman out of a home. A woman I don't even know. And their reason is that some silly child ran away from her and broke a leg. I ask you, would you sign the petition if you were asked?
No.
Then what the...
I was just interested in your attitude. Page, let's make a note of the date. We agree on something. It's worth noting, I think.
You better not harp on it. You might make me wonder if I'm doing the right thing after all.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Seriously, what about this Miss Taggart?
You know as much as I do. Well, it's a funny thing.
The name rang a bell?
That's right. You too.
You're probably thinking of the same Taggart as I am. Elwood Taggart, the doctor who did such good work on tropical skin diseases about 30 years ago.
Yes, of course. That must be where I heard it. I suppose this woman could be any relation.
But Taggart died more than 20 years ago. He wasn't married. I never heard of any family. Anyway, no sense in worrying about that. It doesn't help us.
No, I suppose not.
Oh, just for the record, Stark, what's Miss Taggart's first name?
Maud. Maud Brinkley Taggart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I saw it on the petition when they showed it to me. They must have got it from the council files.
Do they have many names on the petition?
Yes, fair few. Naturally, they have a lot of support of the folk out Cemetery Hill way, people with children mostly.
You think they might be able to persuade the council to condemn the house?
You've seen the place. They tell me it's even worse than when I last saw it a couple of years ago. Practically falling down.
Oh, that's true. And no doubt the jolly good fellows on the council will be able to kid themselves it's in the public interest to pull the house down.
That's perhaps not so bad in itself. The question is, what happens to Miss Taggart?
Yes, that bears thinking about, doesn't it?
Well, I feel sorry for the poor old thing, even if she is a bit weird.
I'm not sure she's even weird. After all, just because she doesn't like visitors, which I know to my cost.
Oh, Peter, of course she's weird. Do you know the tradesmen all have instructions to leave everything outside? She never answers the door.
What's so weird about that?
And people who've seen her at night say she looks just like a witch out of a fairy tale, all rugged up in an old-fashioned ankle-length dress with a shawl pulled round her head and face and a hat on top of that.
What worries me is what they're doing to that woman, even if she did annoy me by not letting me use the phone. I hate it when the whole community gangs up on someone.
Well, you could always start a counter-petition.
It's an odd thing, you know, Jan. I went to that house to use the phone. Well, I wondered at the time that such a broken-down old joint should have the phone on, but well, the wires were there anyway.
Oh, she has the phone all right, always making long-distance calls.
How the devil do you know that?
Well, you know me, Peter. I never gossip, but I keep my ears open.
We'll pass up the argument about your gossiping. Just what did your big ears hear about Miss Taggart's phone calls?
The story is that her phone is on a party line. Other people further down the hill can listen in if they want to, you know.
And, of course, those good folk wouldn't dream of listening.
Of course they listen. That's what party lines are for, to brighten the lives of people with nothing better to do.
What about the long-distance calls?
She rings the Markway Chemical Company, always sending for supplies of various chemicals, apparently.
Chemicals?
Now tell me she isn't a sorceress. She's probably trying to turn iron into gold or something. Isn't that what the old sorcerers always tried to do?
Taggart. Markway Chemical.
What about it?
Jan, put in a call to Johnson at Markway, will you? I have a hunch and I feel like playing it.
Okay. But from past experiences with your hunches, it won't surprise me if it means trouble.
Miss Taggart, it's Dr. Page. I want to talk to you.
I don't want a doctor. Go away, please.
This is important. It's for your own good.
I'm quite all right. Please go away and stop bothering me.
You must open the door, Miss Taggart. People are worried about you.
Nobody need worry about me. There's nothing wrong. If you wish to help me, just go away and leave me alone.
I'm not going till you open the door. Miss Taggart?
You'll never get her to open the door, mister.
What? Oh.
She's a witch. Witches don't like men. But they don't mind boys and girls.
What are you doing here? Lenny still collecting rocks?
Not today. I've been after toads.
Toads? What the?
Well, sort of toads. Frogs, really. See? Aren't they beauties?
A whole box full of frogs. What are you going to do with them?
I'm going to give them to the witch.
Now, Lenny, don't tell me Miss Taggart asked you to get those frogs for her.
Oh, no, she didn't ask me. But I know witches like toads. They boil them up and make spells with them.
Spells? You sure you don't mean smells?
Frogs aren't exactly toads, of course, but they're something like them. I thought maybe the witch would like to have these. Besides, I want to tell her about the men.
Men? What men?
I heard Mr. Wills and some men talking about coming up here, bashing her door down and making her come out into the sunlight.
What? When?
Well, they were talking down...
No, not that. When did they say they'd come up?
At the weekend, they said. They said the old woman ought to be made to come out into the daylight and show her face to the children so they wouldn't be frightened of her.
Oh, did they? And what about you? You don't seem to be frightened of Miss Taggart.
No, I'm not. I like her. If that sissy Marion Wills hadn't got scared the other night, there wouldn't be all this trouble.
You're right. Listen, Lenny, I want to help Miss Taggart too, but she won't open the door for me. Do you think she will for you?
She might. To get the frogs, see?
Well, suppose you go ahead and try. Oh, and I'd like you to take a note to her for me.
A note?
That's right.
Okay.
Go away.
It's me, Miss Taggart. Lenny Davis. I brought some frogs for you.
What's that?
Frogs, like toads, you know. You can make spells with them.
Go away, boy. I don't want any frogs.
Well, you ought to if you're a witch.
What's that?
Well, you're a witch. Everyone says so. And the men are coming up to drag you out of your house. And they say they'll burn it down and all sorts of things.
Oh, no. Just a minute, boy.
Golly, she's really going to open the door.
Now then, boy. The door's unlocked. You can come in.
Okay.
Come in, boy. And close the door. Quickly now. I don't want you to let the light in.
Yes, Miss Taggart.
Come here.
It's so dark I can't see.
I'm used to the dark. It's all right, don't be afraid. Walk straight ahead. That's right. There's nothing in your way. Keep walking. Now, stop. Can you see me now?
Kind of. You're sitting in that big chair.
Yes. Now, what's all this nonsense about my being a witch?
That's what everyone says. That's why I brought you the frogs. See in this box.
I'm sure they're very nice frogs, but I'm afraid I have no use for them.
They're nice and fat. I got them from that marshy patch where the spring is.
Oh, really? Well, I'm afraid you'll have to take them back. I can't keep them here.
Oh.
But it was nice of you to go to all that trouble. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's okay.
What's that you have in your hand?
Oh, the box with the...
No, that piece of paper.
Oh, this. Oh, it's a note from that man outside. I think he's a doctor.
A note? For me?
Yes.
Oh, then give it to me.
Okay.
Now, where did I put my torch? Ah, here. Oh, what's the matter?
You look awfully spooky with the torch on.
Do I? Yes, perhaps I do. I'm not young anymore. But there was a time when I was a happy little girl, like that friend of yours. Do you realize that?
I suppose you must have been a little girl once.
Of course I was. Pretty, too. What's your name, boy?
Creepy. I mean, Lenny.
Well, Lenny, just let me read this note, Now then. Dear Miss Taggart, while not wishing to invade your privacy, I feel it is important that you let me talk to you in view of certain unpleasant gossip that is going round. It has occurred to me that you may be suffering from porphyria. Whether or not I'm right, I feel it will be in your best interest to discuss your situation with me. Yours sincerely, Peter Page. Written on doctor's notepaper. Dr. Page. Yes, I've heard the name. And obviously a very clever young man.
Miss Taggart?
Yes, Lenny?
What does that mean? He said you're suffering. Does that mean you have pains, doesn't it?
No, Lenny, I have no pains. And as long as I stay out of the daylight, I'm quite all right. But just as the sun and bright daylight are good for you, they're deadly for me. If I were foolish enough to go outside now, even for a minute, I could die.
Gosh.
Now, suppose you run along outside and bring Dr. Page in here to me. Will you do that?
Porphyria? Peter, what on earth?
Oh, it's a disease, Jan, that's pretty rare, fortunately. We know little about the cause of it, and only recently has any solid research on it been done.
How does it affect people?
Well, victims have skins that are acutely sensitive to sunlight, even the pale sunlight of a cloudy day.
You mean like redheads?
Very much worse, Jan. The porphyria victim can develop intense skin inflammation, abdominal pains, and sometimes severe mental disturbances from just a few seconds in the sun.
And as long as they keep out of the daylight, they're all right?
That's all there is to it.
Poor old Miss Taggart. Thank heaven you were able to stop them throwing her out of the house. Why, if some fools had gone up there and broken into the place...
She might have died if they'd dragged her into the light. Anyway, we've scotched all that nonsense, and there are some pretty red faces in town, I imagine.
How did you guess Miss Taggart was suffering from that disease?
Well, her reported dislike of daylight started me thinking. Actually, it was just a hunch. But it was supported by what Johnson at Markwell Chemical told me.
About her sending for all those unusual chemical supplies?
Plus the information that she's a qualified biochemist.
Really?
Yeah, the stuff she was sending for seemed the kind of thing she might be using if she was researching porphyria.
And she really is Elwood Taggart's sister?
That's right. He was doing work on her complaint when he died. She decided to retire to some secluded spot and carry on the research, hoping to cure herself and others.
Well, at least they'll leave her to do her research in peace now. Do you think she has any hope of curing herself?
I don't know. But at least she's not sitting around feeling sorry for herself. She's trying to help. And sometimes that's just as important as succeeding. She knows that, and she's happy.
Good morning. Dr. Page's surgery.
Rebel in White is an Artransa production, written by Creswick Jenkinson and directed by Jim Bradley.